Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you can join us once again. For those tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, we're glad you all could be with us today. We're about to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live so they can be a part of our chat for today. We have a guest that's with us solo today. Typically, she's with us talking about the magazine. She brings a lot of people with her, or she's a part of Cyrus Webb and Friends. But today, it is all her, and I'm looking forward to our chat together. And we're now live on Amazon Live with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, I'm going to type you guys a welcome message there. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button, either here in this corner or down below. You also want to see the books by our next guest. We're excited to welcome back the Chanelle Coleman Wesley to our broadcast today. You guys know her as an Amazon best-selling author. She's a motivational speaker. She's a media personality and entrepreneur. We're going to talk to her about a very busy November. Also about her new release that's out in paperback now, the Empower Her uh, blueprint book that's out in both in Kindle and as well as in print, and also what she's doing to help you guys that are busy entrepreneurs to be able to level up when it comes to promoting yourself. Chanelle, welcome back to the broadcast.
Cyrus, I am excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Look, glad to do it. Glad, as I mentioned, you haven't been solo in a while. The last time we had you on, you were talking about the magazine Hustle Her. You love your hers, Chanelle. I'm noticing it.
Everything is a her, Cyrus.
Yeah, you love your hers. Now you have the Empower Her blueprint book that's out. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the new book. Congratulations on that. I should let our audience know they can get the Kindle edition right now for only 99 cents, or you can be able to get the paperback as well. Mine is actually on the way right now. Talk to us about this new book and why you decided to write it, Chanelle.
Cyrus, it's been a long time coming. Let me first of all say that. But it was just necessary. It's the next addition to She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically. And, so many times you're thinking about, okay, I got these different information. Well, what do I do? What are my steps? How do I become her?
Mm-hmm.
And so this blueprint is going to be something that's impactful. It's something for women of faith who are looking for strategies, not just fluff, some good, mantras and go do things, but it has actual practical steps. I love the story. There's a story components in it, raw truths, uncomfortable truths, some things that you can kind of snap your fingers to too. But just some real life checks, things that talk about like, don't look back, because then sometimes we have a tendency to try to look back to see what that thing was, and God brought us out of that thing for a reason. So that door shouldn't be open, and if it's open, we need to close it and tell you things like, get your foot off your own neck. Why? Because sometimes you have to understand that self-sabotage can be a part. The imposter syndrome can be a part. Your procrastination. Sometimes you are just in your own way. So it's about you getting out of your own way and just walking into that next level that God has for you.
Yeah, so it's interesting, Chanelle. I didn't mention this to you before we went live here, but as someone who's read the new book, I totally understand that your platform is based on for women, right? Women empowerment. However, I want to say to the guys, there's a lot in the Empower Her blueprint that we can appreciate as well. One of the examples of that, Chanelle, is something you and I have not discussed that I read, and because of my mind, I'm able to remember the Never Say Camp Mountain and the example with Henry. I think that's a great example for men too of what happens when you do what other people are not willing to do. And even if you come out looking different as Henry did, you can still be able to show people what's possible. Has that been one of the things for you? Because I know even with Hustle Her magazine, you have men that are part of that too. Is that one thing you're really recognizing, that even though your platform might be primarily for women, Chanelle, that there are men that can learn lessons as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's things that we can just all take with us who are experiencing the human experience. There are just truths that relate no matter what your gender, your ethnicity, your religion, or, class, any of those things. We just kind of, as people, we just go through those things. And so I do think it's important, and, to be able to talk to people just in general, and children as well. But like I said, I definitely think it's some good tips for guys, or just a guy who's trying to understand his woman, or to be able to provide some assistance to the special woman in his life.
Yeah. Another thing that you and I have talked about quite a bit both personally and professionally, Chanelle, that you talk about in the new book, The Empower Her Blueprint, is about not pouring into people who don't mean you well and
Mm.
being careful about how you spend your time. Talk to us about that lesson for you and why it was important for you to include in the new book.
Cyrus, it was, I think life is about seasons. Sometimes you learn things about other people, and sometimes it's a reflection for you to be able to take in some internal notes about yourself.
Right.
I had some relationships that, I was overly pouring into and overly extending myself and always trying to see, like, do you have enough on your plate or what do you have, And then I had to evaluate the relationships because instead of them trying to match my energy, it was like, how dare you have something on your plate or why would you do that? You know what I mean? And so it made me have to go through a transition to be able to see if those relationships were sustaining, were they going to add to me, were they going to help to build me? And you need friends and friendships that are going to challenge you, things that are going to people who are not going to just always tell you what you want to hear, but tell you what you need to hear. But it should definitely be done in love and just wanting to see you grow. But
Mhm.
when people are attaching themselves to you just to primarily see what they can get out of you, what I
Yeah.
mean, for them up for the situation to uplift them or to benefit them, but there's nothing reciprocal, then you have to be at that time evaluate, and then you have to choose the tables that you're both sitting at and allow people to sit at with you.
Love that. So let's pull on that thread a little bit more, Chanelle, because that is not a it's sometimes easier to recognize than to implement, right?
Mm.
Because we sometimes know if the phone rings and we look at it, we say, "Oh no," you know. But you still answer the phone. You're choosing to share that space. What has helped you to make sure that you are doing like you talk about in this book, and how you and I've talked about as well, making sure that you're prioritizing yourself and not giving yourself away unnecessarily.
Well, I think, Cyrus, is really about those internal checks with yourself. You get what you allow, and what you allow will continue.
Right.
Sometimes you have the tendency to say, well, he did this to me or she did this to me. Okay, that's true. We can't change what people do, but what was our response? Did our
Right.
response encourage them to make them feel like this is appropriate? She will accept it. I can do it again. So, you
Yeah.
have to have those self checks as well to, first of all, put yourself in a position where we have a teachable moment. Okay, this is what happened. Didn't like that. I want us to make sure that we are aware of what the boundaries are. And if the
Right.
person is just insistent on crossing those boundaries, then we have to, at that point, we have to choose us. And that's necessary.
In the Empower Her Blueprint, Chanelle, one thing I notice about you that is very much you is that you really are taking on the role of guide.
Mm.
Basically letting the reader know, in this case, speaking to women as you do in the book, sis, you know what, we can do this together. Let's do this. Has that been something you've always recognized about yourself, Chanelle, that you were someone who was not only able to implement these things for yourself, but willing to help other people to be able to become a better them as well?
Cyrus, if I'm just being honest, I get it from my mama. My mother
Okay.
was one of those people who was just all encompassing. She was always looking out for everybody else. And even as a kid, I would be wondering, like, why do we have to always, pull in this for everybody else? And she just had that heart. And I just saw how God walked with her, how God used her. And he always blessed her to have more because of the spirit that she had. It wasn't about being self-serving or self-seeking. She was really a servant leader about seeing how she could help, and those, even when you're not trying to imitate your parents, when they put those types of things, instill those types of principles in you, they just get into you and they become a part of the fabric of who you are. So, like I said, that's something I'm very excited about, but it's something I can't take credit for. It's definitely from my mama.
Love
Yeah.
that. I want to say hello to you guys who are tuning in on Amazon Live. If you guys have any questions or comments for Chanelle, make sure you guys put those in the chat. Also, you'll notice Chanelle's books as well as her magazine there. I referenced Hustle Her magazine. That was the last time you were on with us talking about yourself, Chanelle. What has it been like for you to see the growth and response to the magazine?
It's been very rewarding, Cyrus. Something I'm very excited about. I'm excited about our next upcoming issue. Someone who we both know, Dr. Velma Bagby, will be gracing the cover of that one. So I'm really excited about it. It's been a way to be able to connect, to be able to uplift, to provide tangible tips, tricks, and strategies for women of faith who are wanting to say, hey, I want more. Sometimes I think as a Christian woman, especially for me, and I know many people like me growing up, you feel like, well, a Christian should mean scarcity mindset. You can't have these things or you're not supposed to. And, God wants his ideal best for us. And so, sometimes you have to be able to let go of those mindsets and be willing to speak boldly, just like the prayer was, hey, increase my territory. Sometimes we get scared to ask for those bold asks, but God is not offended or surprised or shortchanged when we ask for the big things. And so we are rewarded by our faith. And so I love being able to provide those types of empowerment tools and being able to highlight so many amazing people doing just phenomenal things in their various veins. So that's why I love Hustle Her. Again, I told you everything is about her. about
Right.
But I
Right.
like hymns too.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah. But no, it's good to be able to know who your primary audience is. It's good to know, it's great that you're able to touch other people too. But, I think that's a great lesson in that, Chanelle, for our audience to know who your primary audience is, who you're really speaking to. So when you hear back from that primary audience, how does that feel to know that you have said something or wrote something that is connected with them?
Cyrus, it's a full circle moment. It really is, because when you're one thing I can say about being a playwright and actually getting on and performing, like you kind of know what people are thinking instantly because you're sharing it with the cast, and if the cast doesn't like it, they're looking at you like, what? And if you have the audacity to try to perform it, people let you know real quick, what they think, if they're engaged, if they're feeling it. But with writing, it's really, wait and see, and so when you actually hear someone say, well, I read this book, and there was this lady, I went to the Christian book lovers retreat, and she was asking me about my book, and I was saying what my book was, and she got up and she was talking all this phenomenal things about She Said Yes. And I was thinking, like, she never read my book because I don't know her. And I was like, I hate to tell her, I don't want to correct her, because like while she has the mic, to tell her that's not my book that she's talking about. I said, well, when it's over, I'm gonna go up and tell her, like, thanks for saying the nice things, but that wasn't my book. And so when it was over, I walked up to her and I'm like, okay, hey, Miss Tony, how you doing? Are you sure that this is my book? I don't think you have my book. She was like, yeah, it's your book. We went and talked about the book, went and got the book. She's like, yeah. I said, oh my goodness. It was I was dumbfounded, number one, because I didn't know her. I felt like, well, if I don't know you, you wouldn't have the book. And so I was like, she couldn't be saying all these good things about my book. But it was just a full circle moment because I didn't know this woman. I thought that she had my book mistaken with somebody else's because she reads a lot of books and provides a lot of reviews. And just to know that she was right and she was talking about my book made me feel very good.
Yeah, love that. The new book, The Empower Her Blueprint, has a lot of self-reflection in it, but I want to actually share something, Chanelle, that you wrote in the book. I'm going to actually share my screen with this so our audience can be able to see it as well. This is what you write in the book that I think is really powerful. And when it comes to people, you say, how many of us have gone to sleep on our dreams, ideas, or goals? Sis, how long are you going to press the snooze button on your purpose? Leveling up isn't for the weak. However, I want to challenge you to level up anyhow. Unrealized dreams can quickly transform into hunting nightmares. I want to talk about that for a moment, Chanelle, because there are people who are watching this, who will catch the replay, who are doing just that. They're sleeping on their dreams, ideas, and goals. Maybe this isn't the year they wanted for whatever reason. Things have happened. Life has been lifing to a lot of people this year. They may have had well-intentioned goals at the beginning of this year or at the beginning of this month even, and been thrown around because of what's happening. What has helped you, though, even in spite of that, not to give up on that you feel like is your purpose?
You know what, Cyrus, I believe it's important. And I wanted to speak to that woman or that person because I was that woman, that person who was sleeping on my ideas, on my goals, on the talents and the things that God had given me to do. And, there's nothing better than walking in purpose. Sometimes you have a pain point and you can get so comfortable like nursing and trying to hold that pain point. But usually your pain point is really what helps you identify purpose. They usually line up right in sync, and you can't really fully step into one without the other. It's what prepares you to step into that role. And so what I want to say to the person who's watching, you owe so many times we're trying to discount what I have. I have a little bit of this, or I don't have enough of that. The story that I love in the Bible was with Elisha and the widow. She's coming to him. She's like, you know what? I'm getting ready to lose my 2 children. My husband died. He faithfully served the Lord. We're getting ready to lose everything. What am I going to do? And so Elisha asks her, well, what do you have? What do you have at home? And she's like, I have a little bit of oil. And sometimes what we see is a little bit, but it's all what we need. Elijah's like, okay, great. Just go ahead, go and borrow, get the vessels. And then she has not enough just to pay for the debt, but she's able to live off the overflow. And so sometimes the gift, the thing that you're asking God for, God, please bless me with this, help me to do this. And you have the thing at home, but you're discounting it as little or small or insignificant, or you're sleeping on it. You don't even realize that you have it. And right. The thing that you need is there to be able to help you to activate that next level. So I want to challenge people to not say I got a little this or I got a little that. This is what God gave me, and this is exactly what I need to be able to step into this next level. And sometimes we say, well, it's hard. Well, I should just quit. Or, for a long time, my sister and I would allow, I'm scared. Girl, I'm scared, to check me out. Okay, I'm scared, but do it anyway. Scared does not give me permission to check out all my goals or my dreams or my ideas.
Such a great point. Again, the book, The Empower Her Blueprint, is available in print or the Kindle edition. The Kindle edition, again, is only 99 cents. Before we let you go, Chanelle, the other thing I want to talk to you about is what you're doing for entrepreneurs. Not only are you able to pour into them through your book, but you also be able to help them through services as well. What has that been like for you to be able to use your gifts that way and to be able to help people where we're talking about through promo videos or through graphics? What's it been like for you to use your gifts that way in service of others?
Cyrus, it's something I truly love. It's something I genuinely love to do. I love helping people create stories, to be able to share impactful things that they're trying to convey with an audience. It's something that I feel is necessary. So many times, you hear that, thinking back in the day, I don't know if it was Children of the Corn. It's like, if you build it, they will come. But you have to tell them that you built it or else they won't come. And so being able to help authors and entrepreneurs and everybody of the like be able to share compelling, powerful, and provocative videos that garner their audience is something that's important to me. It's important to them, so it's important to me too.
Love that. And so for yourself, as your rep coming to the end of this year, hey, Tina, good to see you over there on Facebook, Tina Siemens.
Hey, Tina.
As you're coming up to the end of this year, what are you excited about, Chanelle? What is it that you have going on that you're excited about?
Iris. Well, of course, I'm excited about the next issue of Hustle Her magazine that's going to be coming out with Dr. Velma Bagby. So you guys make sure to check that out. But I'm working on a children's book that I wrote a couple of years ago, and I haven't released it yet, but I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about doing some speaking. I'm working on a 3-day program and doing some things for helping authors who are wanting to be able to get out there. They're authors in the making. They haven't started publishing yet, but I want to be able to help them in their journey. So I have a lot that I'm looking forward to, Cyrus.
Love that. So we definitely want our audience to stay connected with you. Where's the best place for them to be able to find you, Chanelle?
Well, Cyrus, I want to say to you, thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule to connect with me. People can connect with me across Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Chanelle Coleman Wesley, or they can follow me, like I said, across there. They can also connect with me on my website, www.shesaidyestoherself.com.
Love that. Chanelle, always a pleasure talking with you. Congratulations on the new book. Looking forward to our next conversation together.
Thanks, Cyrus. Me too.
All right. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.